What is going on, Roland Empire here, guys, to give you a video of, the Mandalorian Season 2 is finally out, and just want to give my little bit of, reactions and opinions and reviews of just what I thought of this very first episode. Gonna check it out, see if I want to do this weekly. Usually I like to post, Thursdays. Thursdays is a favorite for me to post, just things to be consistent, but these air originally, on Fridays. Maybe I'll do these kinds of things. But anyways, just the reactions of the first one and all, so, I'm gonna spoilers. It's just spoilers for sure. But I'm gonna just start off and just be several things that stood out from this show. Really, it's again this when I realized what the location, what the setting is gonna be in this first episode. I was like, wow, it's kind of like a redemption of that, season 1, episode 5 kind of thing. That's what's going on now with season 2, episode 9 or first episode, the way you perceive it. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know how much intentional it is, but I'm like, oh, we're gonna do that kind of redeeming of its qualities in a sense. Even though for me, I liked all the episodes, but I understand the criticisms, and I could see what this one was going and all that, and it was interesting. Again, Tatooine, Mando, that kind of stuff. And I like how the Tatooine is mentioned. Mando mentions it, but Mando really has to go back and kind of just deal with the certain things of finding this Mandalorian, so to speak, and still have the whole Yoda and Mando quest kind of thing. And it was nice to see the characters again, the one that looks like Ripley and all that. It's nice to see her too again. I like the way Filoni wrote the other episode to Favreau with this one, but Favreau, it did show he still brought his version. It's the same character, but even with her, it was really recognizable how kind of it picked up a bit more of her charm in a way. And then seeing Mando finally having an arc, have Mando just having an arc now, seeing how the droids are more they're more lenient. I was like, yeah, go ahead and fix the ship. So little things like that I like to pick up, seeing how it's nuance. It's nuance, and it's so subtle of how he just has accepted certain things like that. And then also just having the whole look again. It's nice for me. I appreciate. I think I've said this. I think I did say this. I appreciate that we get to look back Tatooine stuff, have an evolution. This is a way to kind of show. You're not gonna invest fully at the time like this, but it's nice to dedicate a little bit of time like this. But realizing then him going through all this to find the quest of the Mando, and then it gets to the point where he finally goes where he has, and then someone's like, oh, the Marshal, and then Boba Fett comes up. You think it's Boba Fett, but I knew on the spot, I was like, there's something off of this. It's not Boba Fett. But then who I thought it sounded like, I was like, he reveals himself. I was like, Timothy Olyphant. Man, it's good to see him. I like him as in, I know who he is. He's, credible of an actor. I need to see more of his work. But I've seen enough of his work. I was like, yeah, this guy is a solid guy. And it's nice to get him, this kind of actor, in this kind of show. And he really adds some gravitas to it. And I thought it was going to be a bit forced, though, seeing how there was a background and all that stuff with him. But eventually what he became with Mando, teaming up for a bit, it was nice. I really believe the chemistry. I think the chemistry really was enjoyable. And then I will say some things I thought, I was like, oh, man, some of this parts, it starts strong with what we get, with that boxing scene when he gets to Tatooine and all that. But then there's slow paces. I thought, oh, no, is this going to be a filler episode? Man, there still was some times they needed to get picked up, but overall I really did still enjoy this episode. It's interesting because all the episodes that I might enjoy are for different reasons. This one, I like that it was still, I appreciate the Easter eggs. I have no issues as long as somehow it's guaranteed. I like seeing little Easter eggs, little tidbits. I felt like this was a rewarding episode for a lot of the fans of different versions and all, and I really did enjoy the episode like that. And we'll see, maybe it started out strong, season 1, and then we got somehow side episodes, but then eventually added up. And maybe it's interesting to be this could be the side one, and then the stronger ones come after. We'll see if it's that kind of payment. But for this one, at least, it still felt a bit slow. At least that it felt like it is a sideline of an episode, but still there was key elements here. Okay, they're still establishing, so it's still it's still a strong episode. And again, Favreau just did a good job just laying out all of that. He could. I'm glad he took a chance to direct now. Have it's kind of your story. Go ahead and give your envision, and it's nice. Eventually, what happens in the third climax with the Tusken Raiders, Timothy Olyphant's character and the Mandalorian, how they have to team up and fight this thing. That felt a little bit rehashed too of what happened with Bryce's episode, but Favreau really did bring his own spin where the whole kind of the camaraderie, the team up, it was still enjoyable. And what really helps is that suppose I was like, it took me a second, but I was like, whoa, that's this IMAX kind of look that it had. It really worked, and it was a nice effect, and it was still fun to see. And I'm just curious, I'm like, where does this lead on? Would eventually lead on, which showed it was like a Knights of the Republic kind of like Easter. That was cute too. That's why there's a little bit enough for all these people to just enjoy something. It was fun, and you would think in a bit, I'm like, okay, how's this gonna affect? What's gonna affect with this? But then we get the last shot. We're like, we're not done yet. We're not done. You think it was over? You're still one more thing. And then we get the silhouette of this person, and I start having ideas. But I was like, let's just see where it goes. And then he turns around. It's Tamara Morrison. I was like, oh, okay. The Django Boba Fett is back. The Fett. It's nice to see him. I was like, this is awesome. I was like, okay. So now this kind of pays off why the episode is, So it just gives you an interesting look. It shows that I'm like, okay, what is his story? How is he going to impact this series? But it's nice. I like this. I I gotta admit, guys. Okay, give me something new, but I like little tidbits here and there. Okay, I like when you can kind of bring something. It's nice like this. I'm like, wow, to bring something, especially from the prequel to like this sequel era, but it's really the Mando kind of era. It's nice to feel, and I'm like, hey guys, this is why like sometimes I know I'm a prequelist. There's flaws into that, but I still like my little prequels. I understand when people, hear their sequels get bashed. That's why I'm like, if I have criticisms, it's got to be really honest. So I understand why, there's maybe just, that's why if I have issues with the film, with that trilogy, I'll say, but I still like the sequel trilogy. And so it was nice to get him here. I'm like, nice, yes. Uh, we'll see. It's a mixture of like the world being, it's, it's interesting because you feel like the world is, expanding, but still the world is, when it's smaller too, is still very familiar. It's sprinkled with so much that I did like it was an entertaining episode. It really was. It was an investment episode. Still, it really did reward. I'm curious though. It feels good. It feels good to just like Star Wars in this sense again, and I'm curious to know what's the expansion, what is going to be the small more niche episodes. I like this. I want to see the whole world building, the whole expansion of the universe, and I want to see these smaller kind of niche dedicated, just kind of like core Star Wars episodes, like something that is relatable, that is familiar, and to kind of this kind of scale too. I'm enjoying, guys, and I really can't wait to see how how just the series goes. But let me know, guys, what you thought, if you really enjoyed this episode, and I just really like this episode. It is one of the better ones, though. It really is one of the better ones in the sense of like what it's probably going to be like, what it's going to be constructing and all. So all this in the comments below. And as always, roll an empire, laugh, smile, repeat.